Dear Vincent.
First thing I noticed when I walked into the theater and movie started, I'm not gonna lie. First thing I noticed that this animation was straight butt. I'm not gonna lie. This reminded me of that one Seven Deadly Sins episode, and it was looking like straight ass. I was like, but then I was looking to my left and right, and like the people I was watching it with they acted like it was normal. So maybe I was like, okay, maybe I'm too spoiled or something, and like the animation is meant to be like it's meant to look like buns or something. I was like, okay, let me see. Maybe the story is good. I personally am not liking the animation, but like, you never know. The story could be decent, right? And I'm like, okay,
I'll
let's
never
watch this
forget my
trailer.
first day in waterfront town, when I ran off on my own and first came upon the glassworks. I had never seen something so beautiful. It was magical.
Animation isn't that bad.
To me, like I ain't like
That's a
this is
style.
like this. It's a different type of style that I'm not used to. Like I'm used to like this, like this. Like, I'm used to like the Mappa Studios, JJK type, like this beautiful ass animation with hella details and everything. And then I walk in theater and I seen bro built like a freaking dumpling. I was like, okay, let me see what's happening though.
You want to invite the Colonel's daughter over here? What can you be thinking, son? You are not like them.
Like these
You think
scenes, like
you're
especially
son?
like this one right here, like where he's about to go hug her.
You
It
are not.
feels it's just like it feels so 2D. Like like if you ever watched YouTube animators, that's what it seemed like I was watching. It felt like I was watching a YouTube slideshow. Like I'm not gonna lie, back in my day, I ain't gonna lie, if I was really down bad at one point. I started watching uh gotcha life animations. I'm better show it. I started watching these. I'm not gonna lie.
That's bad, bro. Like that's really bad.
That's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. That
But like, but
fifth
no,
grade was
no,
kind of a
bro.
rough time for me, but
Like my sister was doing that shit, bro.
like,
Like
but that's
what?
whatever. I'm like sitting here. I'm like, yo, why does Loki look familiar? And I finally realized, like, yo, bro, it looked like a Gotcha Life animation. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like them.
Like, it did the like. That's the main. I had a problem with the
Gins are
animation, right?
spirits
And
created
that's not
from
even the biggest
smokeless
problem
fire.
I had.
They
After
have
this trailer done, I'm
special
better explain it more.
powers. Some Jinn are good and some Jinn are bad.
Is this Jin a
Yo,
good one?
fast forward, fast
The
forward.
Great Ravine is disputed territory. We claim it. So
Are they
do
speaking
they.
Indian?
So
No,
we
no,
go
it's
to
English.
war. Idiocy. Business. We will not be.
Vincent. And
Right. So I'm watching this, and I'm like, okay. I'm like, okay, I can get by with the animation. It seemed like a cool little plot. So like the main plot is that this dude he works in a glass like in a glass shop, right? And this glass shop, uh, so him and his dad are the only people in the city that aren't supporting the war openly, and because they don't want to do it. They think the war is bad, whatever, whatever. They're fighting over disputed land, and they think the war is useless and just killing innocent people, right? So they're sitting there. They're the only people that are doing that, and the son of this glass shop and the son of the colonel of the army somehow stumble upon each other, yada yada yada. They fall in love, yada 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 yada, whatever. Right? Typical as like romance story right there, right? I'm like, okay, this is all right. Then they introduced this one character. His name was like Malik or something. And instantly when they introduced this character, you could tell that this character was like he's just a straight dickhead. They portrayed him so like some characters you could portray like they're sneakily evil, right? Like sneakily dickheads. This character was openly a dickhead, and I think their entire goal was for you to hate the character, right? I'm like, okay, that's fine. Like they always make one of those characters like that's like the rival you could say for the guy, right? I'm like, okay, that's chill, that's chill, that's chill. And they keep going on with the story, and like I'm starting to notice like the story Loki has like it's not feeling like it's not feeling a lot of connection with the story, right? So like these I don't know what it was, but I feel like they had a lot of try to create a lot of emotional scenes in the movie. Like there's this one scene in the movie where they're in the subway station and the subway station gets bombed, right? So they run, they hide behind a little desk, and then as they're getting bombed, the main girl and the main character start to have an argument, literally while they're getting bombed. Like to me, that just felt kind of stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Like it just felt like the whole idea of the bombing just got completely thrown away. Like it was just like, what's the point of even
Unrealistic.
yeah, like what's the point of even putting the bomb down? Like you put this bomb for no reason. It does nothing for the story. It was just there, I guess, for them to hide behind a table so they could argue. And then they started arguing, and like that was meant to be an emotional scene because they're talking about how like because the main girl is a musical artist and this guy is a glass artist, right? So he's talking about, he told her like you could never be a real artist because you never make original art. And it was meant to be like an emotional scene, like a direct shot at her, like a real conflict, but there felt like there was no emotion behind any of the words that were said, not just throughout that scene, the entire movie. Like I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, I know in my head, I'm saying like this is an emotional scene, but I don't feel no emotions at all. And that's when like I first started to realize, okay, this movie is straight ass. Like, this movie, I'm not gonna lie. 'Cause I came into this movie now with great expectations, but I thinking at least it's probably gonna be like at least a 6 out of 10, right? So
I
I
should
don't have
make it an 8.6.
8.6 is what the public is saying, bro. They said it's an 8.6. I don't think it's an 8.6 at all. I think it's a 3 out of 10. That's me being generous. It was actually terrible to me, in my opinion. It's like there were so many like another part of the movie was so there is so oh I forgot to explain this one main part. So you know how I said the entire time the two characters, the daughter is the colonel's person, the son of the daughter of the colonel, and the main character is the son of the glassmaker, right? And they try to portray the colonel as a bad guy as he barges into the shop and then forces the dad to work on military equipment for like a highly explosive or some bullshit about like some like he needs to make the glass for like these overpowered ships or something, right? So they trying to portray this guy. I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to make this guy the villain, right? But then like there's no continuity with it. They just they put that plot point of okay, he forcing them to do this, and then it was like he disappeared for the rest of the movie. The Colonel guy, he was just there for literally no reason. It didn't make any sense. There was another scene where so now they're making these glass things and they're transporting it to the military people, and so for some reason the main character starts to go insane. Like they don't even explain it really. He just starts to go insane and starts to like he's just hearing like you know when like you hear those high pitched noises and screams and like people like it's a very typical like thing they do in movies. It's cliche. Like they hear the screams and they start to spaz out. He just starts to randomly do that for some reason. I don't know what happened. He might have had like autism or something. But like he starts to do that and then they're holding a rope down to bring the thing down. But then the dad's arm gets caught in the rope and it just randomly the dad's arm gets cut off. Like it just like it shows all the blood and everything. I'm like, oh, that's kind of weird because it didn't do anything for the plot. It didn't motivate the character to do anything. It didn't what's it called? Like there was no justification. It didn't do anything for the plot at all. It's like they had so many things in the story where they were just random plot points. It felt like they didn't really, they had just like you know those the games when you're younger, the connected dots. It felt like they just had the dots and forgot to connect it. Forgot to put the lines through it. Just like they had a whole bunch of random ass plot points. It's like they're pretty good ideas and then but it's really like it ain't flow properly. Like one part of the movie, the main character and the girl are together, and another part she's now kissing some random dude. And then another part they get back together, and another part she runs away and then dies. Like what the fuck? Like it just all happening so quick and they're not explaining nothing. Like the movie was just very aggravating because like the main girl, you're meant to like her, right? You're meant to like this girl, but there's like no way for you to like her because she's with the main guy but then she cheats on him and then runs away. And then I'm not gonna lie, they were on a train to leave the city, and a bomb hit him. I ain't gonna lie, I dead ass was smiling when I seen that. I was so happy that seeing that character die. Like I have never been that happy seeing that character die. Seeing a character die. Like it just made no sense on why they made that movie so ass. Like it's just so many random plot points and like there was no emotions. Like I don't know. I didn't like. I can't even explain how shitty that shit was. Like I have nothing to even compare it to. Actually, I got something. Y'all ever watched? If you've ever watched live action Dragon Ball Z movie, yo, that's how bad that shit was. That was actually embarrassing, bro. I sat there thinking, okay, this is about to be the pride and joy of this country's animation studio, but in reality, this shit was an embarrassment. I don't know how anybody watched this movie. I was told this movie was gonna be good, but this movie was straight ass. Like
For
this
12 minutes.
this is what's it called? This is the scene where what's it called? They die. I was like, they're just running away. And I'm not gonna lie, it shows her smiling before she dies, while looking at the city where she left her freaking the love of her life, and it showed her smiling. And I was it made me very angry. They also introduced this one thing in the movie. They introduced a spirit, a jinn. They introduced at the very beginning, doesn't show up at all for the middle of the movie, and just comes back at the end as the spirit of the girl, so that he can give one last final goodbye. But like there was, I don't like I feel the only reason they introduced that Jin was just for that end point. Like the Jin wasn't used for anything else in the story. They gave nothing else. It was just like sometimes in the story you can do that, but like if you're introducing something at the very beginning, like it's literally the first scene of the movie, they show the Jin, but then they don't build off that. It's just like they introduce it and it's just a straight line. Like normally a story is meant to be it's a it's a rise and a climax and goes down. That movie was it was like rise, 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 no climax, and just it just fell. Like there was no climax and like the rise in action was straight at like it didn't make any sense. It's like you could feel like they're trying to build up to a climax, but then there was nothing there. And they just what's it called? They just like ended the movie basically. And they feel so unpolished. I feel like if they spent a little more time on the story, it would have been a great movie. But
Damn,
because
bro, you're really yapping.
bro, that's the point, you dickhead.
Like I try to ask you if you had monkeypox like 3 times, but you just kept on going. I couldn't
Do
ask.
I have monkeypox?
Yeah, bro. I just felt like I should ask that.
Yeah, bro. Mon- Why would I have monkeypox? Do I look like I got
I don't know. It's
monkeypox?
just a question I had to ask.
Like, bro, I look good right now. I don't got monkeypox. Hey, this is my rating for this movie. I'm not gonna lie. The more I think about it, the lower it gets. I'm putting it at a 2.5 out of 10. The more I
Like I
think
told
about it,
you, thinking can never bring you happiness.
yeah, bro. See, you just like, why you gotta say some bullshit like that, bro? Like.